thanks for coming on this 24-hour immersion with homeless here in Santa Monica. Just to give you an overview of what we do as a company, Break and Transform International. We have leaders go live with marginalized groups for the purpose of having them experience the pain of those people, because we believe that true leadership means that you're more concerned with impacting others than you are with living comfortably. And the number one way to impact others is by experiencing their pain, walking in their shoes.
Hey, what's up? My name is Eppes. I'm a personal trainer slash actor slash lyricist. I do what I do because I want to help people. This life is not about us, about God, about helping others.
My name is Bundra. I work at Kritzer, Levine, Wilkins Entertainment in LA. Producer, screenwriter, slash manager. I want to see change. I want to see change in people's lives.
Hi, I'm Fehsenfeld. I'm a singer-songwriter, actor, work as a worship leader in churches. And I want to have as much compassion as possible for people. And so this is going to give me an opportunity to have that for people that I maybe have not had a chance to walk in their shoes before.
Hi, my name is Jeff Hamilton. I'm Director of International Programs at Pepperdine University. I have a very blessed existence, and even the people I interact with on a daily basis also have that same type of existence. I decided to get involved with this organization because I really want to see how it is that other people live, how it is that what they experience on a daily basis.
Hi, my name is Kris Wolfe. I work for a company called Eli Lilly. I'm a pharmaceutical representative. I'm going to try this out just so I can empathize and kind of seek to understand what it's like to even live like this 24 hours.
So the groups are going to be Will, Ryan, and Kris. And then we will have Jeff and Danny together. As you guys immerse with the homeless, we've already asked you not to bring any money, credit cards, to use any of your own personal capital. We want you to eat with the homeless. Eat where they eat, sleep where they sleep, and don't insulate yourself from their pain at all. As far as whether or not you tell people whether or not you're really homeless, I'd recommend, as far as homeless people, feel free to share that and let them know why you're doing it, because you want to walk in their shoes. As far as people who aren't homeless, I wouldn't say to share it, because if you share it, then you're not going to experience the social ostracization that homeless people experience. Are there any questions?
Did anybody bring any hairstyle stuff?
You guys go figure out where to sleep and where to pass the next 24 hours. We will meet up at 4:30 tomorrow. Will, you're cutting out a little early, so we're meeting up earlier. But the other four of you, meet me here at 4:30. Go do it.
My artistic man.
Okay, go man. And you make these awesome designs out of wire.
Copper wire.
Copper wire, yeah.
Yeah, that's a bonsai that took me 4 days to make.
Oh, that's amazing, man.
That one 3 days.
And you sell it in stores or on the street or where?
No, right here.
I love it, man. Dude, we just scored some pizza.
We just got some pizza. We had a nice...
Thanks to Mocho. Thanks for sharing with us, man.
Thank you, for sure.
Now see, that to me is love.
I like the chair for everything.
Yeah, we're thinking about we need to find food to give to them, right? That's how we started the night, and next thing we know, he's giving food to us.
I think the one thing that stands out so much to us, we've hung out with 3 homeless people tonight, is the overwhelming sense of optimism and joy and give.
The fact that they're so willing to give when they have so little, man, it wakes you up.
Like you said, that one guy that will give you money sometimes, right? Adults will give you money, but it's different when kids give it to you.
They give without, like, judgment or preconception. When people take the time to, like, actually ask, like, you know, instead of just assuming that they think they understand something, you guys are a rare breed.
And we're behind a bike shop right now. Dude, 2 homes, man.
Sweet!
I gotta tell you, this is victory.
Alright, so we have ended up in a park in Santa Monica.
We're pretty tired. We did a lot of walking the night. Hung out with a fair amount of people. It teaches you to count your blessings.
I am very tired. Tonight was amazing. I am humbled. I feel like I'm living. I feel like I've really embraced what it means to be a child of God and help other people out.
Alright, so I was able to make this bicycle box work for a makeshift shelter. This is going to be a dry night for me, I hope, unless it gets raining real hard.
So apparently,
as I was trying to get in my box. My box does not close on the other side. I mean, basically I got the rocking chair box. It's like improv in the park.
Yeah.
Actually not so bad.
No.
It's raining outside. It's pretty cold. I'm just really blessed. Found a box. It's the simple things in life, you know?
Will and I cannot sleep. It is drenching us out here. We are freezing cold. Kris and Mike, they're sleeping. Don't think we'll be getting much sleep tonight.
So my home for the night decided to succumb to the rainwater on the ground. Looks like Mr. Smarty Pants, my partner, moved his box underneath the overhang.
Will and I have been walking around Santa Monica for hours.
Slept a total of 5 minutes.
We've been looking for heat because our clothes have been soaked, and we finally found a heated parking garage.
Praise God.
Because there was probably 7 or 8 homeless people there at the same time that we were there over the course of the night, and we stayed there from about 1 o'clock until about 5 o'clock. Inside the box was a little bit warmer, not a ton, but a little bit. But more than anything, it was a peace of mind of not being exposed. Even though it wasn't armor, it felt protective in a way.
Well, we put the boxes underneath the tree on the ground.
That was good for a solid 40 minutes.
And when it started pouring, all of a sudden, oh yeah, water seeping up from the earth, which was not the start I needed for the next couple hours of being completely frozen and wet. So it took us a while before we could find a place to even use the restroom. And you know, you take that type of stuff for granted. We walked by McDonald's and it was like, might have been the homeless shelter.
Right.
You know?
The only people that were there were homeless.
Because, you know, $1, $2, $3, $4, it's gonna fill you up. You know, I'm a guy that pushes like major nutrition, and like, you know, I see the other side.
You were jonesing for a hash brown.
I'm still jonesing for a hash brown.
It's about 7:45 in the morning right now. 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't sleep. Will couldn't sleep either. So we went over to overhang that was about half a block away, and we were just over there jogging in place. So in the meantime, while we're doing all this, at about 3 o'clock, Kris Wolfe, who's sound asleep in the pouring rain,
I don't know how he did it.
I know. Starts hearing our buddy who we had with us, Kris.
He was more concerned about his chair than his own body.
Kris sees him, he's like all cramped up and everything else, so he picks him up, gets him in the chair. They get on a bus, which was warm, but meanwhile all his stuff is soaked through. So Kris ended up going home. He's getting him some pillows and blankets and everything else, and they're gonna reconnect. It was incredible because one of the things he commented to us was just how for him it was a luxury to even be able to sleep on the ground outside because he has cerebral palsy. It puts things in perspective when we complain about stuff that, you know, doesn't even matter.
I guess in a kind of a mean way, I don't really feel sorry for many people anymore after looking at his situation. I'm not going to complain at all. I should be sleeping on the street, you know, for a whole year.
We're walking down 4th Street, just north of Arizona. We come across this sign, Praise and Bible Study, Fridays, 8:30 to 9:30. In the course of the last, I don't know, 17 hours or whatever, how many doorways do you think we've passed?
Oh yeah, 1 million.
Right? Look at this sign.
Yeah.
In front of the freaking church.
Yeah.
The only
That's
sign
the only time I've seen that sign.
You can't line a doorway is on a church.
Yeah. Wow.
Come on.
We just ran into this woman, Kat, who I actually knew from 5 years ago. She used to live out on she's still, you know, is out on 3rd Street Promenade. And at the end, she goes, "Hey, do you mind running up to the 99-cent store and picking me up a tarp? I'll give you $1 to go pick one up for me. And I go, well, to be honest, we don't have any money on us because we've had to give it all up for being on the street. When she hears that, she goes, what? What are you guys doing out on the street with no money?
Crazy.
She pulls out $2 more from the money that she's been earning. And she goes, you boys go and get yourselves a hamburger. And I said, all right, well, well, we're going to go get the tarp. I was like, how late are you going to be here? She's like, don't worry about the tarp. The tarp's not important. You guys go get yourself fed. What are you doing on the street like that? So it's just cool to see somebody giving out of their lab.
Finally finding some rest.
And now I know why the homeless sleep in the daytime. How do you feel? Lie to the camera. Tell the camera how.
Disneyland.
Yeah, there we go. Smile.
We're coming up right now to meet up with Will and Danny. They're getting off their immersion early.
Wow, I can't recommend this enough. The happiest people you'll ever meet are usually the people that have the least. It was very eye-opening, and just really ashamed of my own natural selfish reaction to inconvenience. I see you shaking your head too, you know? Yeah.
I was telling Ryan when we were walking, I'm like, man, I feel exhausted, my head's hurting, but I told him I feel great at the same time. And I'm like, why is that? Life is not about comfort, but it's not about making me feel good, because the best way to make yourself feel good is to make somebody else feel better. When I first got into this thing, a couple of people were asking me, what's the point of doing this? You know, I don't see the relevance in how you're spending the night with homeless people. Why don't you do something actually good and feed them, give them money?
We have a tendency to think that if we put together some type of charitable cause, we've done a good deed for those in need.
Let me tell you, we didn't give a single one of them any money. We gave them something else far greater than money. We gave them respect.
Your friend said this, and one of our friends said this as well on the street last night, was that it's been so long since anyone's touched them. We had one guy say that no one had given him a hug in several years. To take the time to sit down and talk, to have a meaningful conversation was just, it's such a rarity in their lives, you know? And we get that all the time.
Being genuine, just those relationships and people needing that touch.
Give them a hug and just sit and talk with them about their life. It's one of the greatest gifts that you can ever give. I think oftentimes we as leaders think we need to have the answer for everything. And unfortunately, I think it positions us in a posture of arrogance.
I think the best leaders are actually the ones that listen and the ones that allow themselves to be changed. You don't even get a chance to speak into somebody's life until you earn that respect, first of all.
These people are exactly like you and I.
The best thing I can do for them is go to my circle of friends and correct them on their false thoughts about what these people go through, who they are. Because they're people. They're not homeless people. They're not bums or not drug addicts, you know. They're people that are struggling with these things, but they're people just like you and me. I'm about bringing awareness. I'm about serving, doing things like this. It's just the beginning.
There the rest of the guys are. Time to hear how their immersion went.
Kris, why don't you share your experience first from last night?
Well, you all saw some of the video footage of Mike. Well, he has a condition called cerebral palsy. When he found us last night, he said that he would actually want to stay with us. It would be good for him because he usually ends up laying in that chair or sleeping in that chair that he's in. And obviously it's not good for his body at all. Will was really kind and, you know, massaged his back to relax him and lay him out in a position on the ground. And I think I was just so exhausted that I actually fell asleep. I think it was a few hours later I started hearing Mike scream my name and he was completely drenched. He's like, I'm so sorry to wake you up, but I'm really concerned about my wheelchair because if I don't have a wheelchair, I don't have a body because his wheelchair is electric. So when I picked him up, he was shivering. When I sat him back on the wheelchair, his body was so contorted, his legs were completely twisted, and I tried to untwist his legs, and he was in extreme pain. And we both had mulch all over us because we were sleeping in mulch. And it was all muddy, and his wheelchair was having a little bit of trouble moving through the mud. Well, we finally got out to the street. When we were on the street, this car of 4 guys drove past, and they pointed at Mike, and I saw them all start laughing. I just couldn't believe it because he was in such pain, and he was so miserable at that point. And in the middle of that, some people thought it was funny. A bus ended up coming on, and I explained to the driver that I didn't have any money, but I was going to help Mike on, and she wouldn't mind waiting for a little bit. It took about like 10 minutes, but they all waited, and some of the other homeless men that were on the bus offered to help out as well. And I told him that I was going to get him some supplies, and I'd bring him back today. I can't imagine what it would be like doing this every night.
It was really an eye-opener. The entire night feels like a dream.
It's freezing cold, you know, damp clothes, waking up the next morning, only getting half an hour of sleep. You know, the way that homeless people even treat others, in spite of what they go through each night, to me was, you know, an inspiration. If they can put up with, you know, sometimes going with no sleep and then treating people respectfully the next day, I can strive for that in, you know, my career as well.
More than anything, I think what kind of surprised me was how giving all the people that we met were, all the people who are homeless and who in our eyes have nothing. We're so willing to give everything that they have. That's sort of a giving spirit. I don't think I expected to find that here.
And so you just see a different side of people coming out that you wouldn't see when you just judge these people as being, you know, people just looking for a handout. And we were not able to offer food or money this time, but I saw more changes in people through what we were able to do, which is to bring them hope. I saw this guy across the street, and he was reaching into a garbage can. In his sweat, you could smell the stench from a mile away. Who knows what had happened to him, you know, his backstory, if somebody had, you know, beat him up, if some kids had thought it would be funny to, you know, piss on his shirt or whatever else. Then I handed him my sweatshirt, and he goes, "Are you sure?" He's like, "You sure you don't need that?" I go, "Yeah." I go, it's a little damp still from last night, but it's almost dry. So I said, "Take it." And so you can just see his whole spirit just lifting up. And then I said, "Hey, can we pray for you?" You know, God cares more about him than any of us ever possibly could, and he's able to do more and bring everything together. He left our conversation coming into it being somebody who was looking head down, not wanting to talk anymore, and just passing everyone by on the street, to somebody who was actually holding up his head. I struggle with the same things in my career. You know, I'll get down and I'll feel like I'm worthless because I'm not reaching a certain level of success that I believe I'm capable of. He needs somebody, you know, to give him hope, just like I need people to give me hope around me.
Not having any money, just walking through all this, and suddenly none of this was for me. I hope I remember kind of that perspective of none of this is for me, none of this is important to me. That what's more important are the people outside and the friends that you have and the relationships in your family, and learning to listen to each other, learning to communicate with each other, learning to not take for granted that the person right next to you is also a person.
Everyone has a story.
They've gone through life lessons that are full of wisdom that we can really gain from.
A lot of times we look at homeless people and we go, homeless, hopeless. We're hopeless for them, they're hopeless for them. And I think what's important to realize is that they're no different than us. There's hope for every single person.
Like God promises in the Bible that he has a hope and future for every single one of us. And I think something that each of us can do is really help that process out by letting people know that they do have hope and they do have a future.